When we look at the subtraction or the addition of two cubes, we may be wondering, how do we even factor this, or how did we even get to the factored form? Well, there's actually a simple formula to it. Let's look at it. A cubed minus b cubed. When we factor that, we're going to get a minus b times a squared plus ab plus b squared. As for how this works, let's just multiply it out and prove that it works. So when we multiply this out, a times a squared, we're going to get a cubed. A times ab is going to give us a squared b. And we multiply that with the last one, a b squared, and then let's multiply out the b, negative b. So that becomes a squared b minus ab squared, b times b cubed, negative b cubed. So let's look at the inside. We have a positive a squared b, but we also have a negative a squared b. So when we add those together, that's going to give us 0. So we can just cancel those out. And then when we look at ab squared, we have a positive 1, and we also have a negative 1. So when we add those, we're going to get a 0. So what do we have left? A cubed minus b cubed. That brings us back to the unfactored form. Well, how did we get these signs? Well, there's a simple way to memorize it. I use this mnemonic called SOAP. SOAP meaning same, opposite, always, positive. So as you can see, we have subtraction of two cubes. So we're going to use the same sign. We have subtraction here. We're going to do subtraction here. So we have the S finished. The O, opposite. We have a subtraction here, so we're going to use a positive here. So this refers to the S. This refers to the O. So we finished the O. Now we have AP left. What does that mean? Well, that means always positive. This one is always going to be positive. So always do an addition sign for the last sign. So similarly, if we look at a positive example, which we can also do, let me do this really quickly. This works in a similar fashion as well. A cubed plus b cubed. Now, how do we factor that? We're going to use the same format. A, b, but it's always the same mnemonic as well. So same, it's going to be the same exact sign. So if it was a positive here, we're going to use a positive here. And then it's the same format, a squared, ab, b squared. Now, what do we put for the signs in between these? Well, we already did the same one. Next is O, opposite. If we have an addition here, we're going to use a subtraction here. And then always positive, we're going to put a plus here. So that's how we factor using addition between two cubes. So let's move on to an example. So we're going to look at this example. We're going to do 64 minus a cubed. So how do we factor that? Well, first, we have to get this into the cube format. So 64 is actually 4 cubed, because 4 times 4 is 16. 16 times 4 is 64. So always get it into this format where we have a base raised to a cube, if we're going to factor by cube form. So now we have difference of two cubes. So which one are we going to use? We're going to use this top one. It's going to use the same format. This should be something that you memorize. Only use the base. See how we have a raised to a cube? We only use the base here. So here it would be 4, which is the base of this cube, minus a. And let's just fill in the variables for now. So this would be 4 squared. I don't know what the sign is. And then AB, we multiply the bases here. So 4 times A, 4A. And then lastly, A squared, because it's the last base squared. So as for how the sign should work, SOAP, same. We're doing subtraction, so this should be the same. So that's negative subtraction. This one is opposite. Next one's opposite, so this should be a plus sign. And then the last one is always positive. So this should also be a plus. So this is how we factor. We can also make this a little cleaner by doing this. 4 minus a. 4 squared, 16 plus 4a plus a squared. Now let's do another example. Let's say now instead of subtraction, we have x cubed plus 8. So what did I say we have to do first? Right, we have to get it into the cube format. So the cube format is going to be x cubed plus 2 cubed, because 2 times 2 times 2 gives you 8. So let's get in this format again, in the factoring way. We're going to use the first base, put in the second base, the first base squared, multiply the two bases, 2x, and then square the last base. So SOAP, what are the signs? Positive, we're doing addition, so same sign, plus. Opposite sign, always positive, so this is how we get it. And of course, like last time, we can also simplify it and fix up the second part. So you see how it had 2 to 2, we can put this plus 4 instead. So to go over everything as a review, when we have 2 cubes, it will always be in either one of these formats. See how it goes? It's equal. First base, second base, second base. First base squared, first base squared. Multiply the bases. Second base squared. Second base meaning this one, the second one. It's going to be the same exact format. The first base, which is the A, the second base, which is the B, A squared, first base squared, multiply the bases in the middle, and then the second base squared. Right? So SOAP, same sign, so this one's subtraction, sorry. So we're going to put subtraction, opposite, we're going to do plus, and then always positive. So this one's going to be a plus. Following SOAP again, same sign, plus, because we have a plus there, opposite, always positive. And then we're just going to wrap up with a quick example of using numbers. So we have 64 plus x cubed. So we're going to follow that. Turn this into the base format where it's cubed. 4 cubed is equal to 64. 4 times 4 is 16. 16 times 4 is 64 plus x cubed. So these two are the bases. We have a base of 4 and we have a base of x. Let's use them. Put the first base, second base, square of the first base, multiply the bases, second base squared. Same sign, so plus, opposite, always positive, and we have our factoring answer.